Rumors came out this week that the Atlanta Hawks are thinking about taking Donovan Clingan with the first overall pick this year. Today, we're going to watch his film and figure out whether or not that's a good idea. On the offensive side of the ball, he has the classic strengths that you'd expect from a big man. He has good presence in the post and can finish pretty well there, but in the modern NBA, that's not as valuable of a skill as it was in the past. Where he does shine in the modern game is that he's great on the roll and in the dunker spot, finishing lobs and dump-offs from point guards. He definitely showed some ability to finish around, over, through contact at the college level. I'm not sure how well that'll translate specifically in the NBA, but in the ideal situation, he'll be open on rolls or dump-offs anyways and won't meet much resistance at the rim to just go up for dunks or layups. Another strength of his is that he is a solid passer, especially for a big man. Now, I'm not saying he'll be like Jokic or even Sabonis, but inside of a play or off a double, he can easily find the open man and make the right read. He's never going to be the central point of your offense. He's not going to be running things, but he'll make the right read when it's open. That's about all you can hope for. Now, while he does have the play finishing ability you want from a modern big man, he doesn't exactly have the shooting. And I've seen the term shooting potential thrown around in reference to Clingan. No hate to him, but I just simply don't see it. He shot less than 60% from the free throw line. He shot very few threes on the year, and when he did shoot them, he didn't make them very often. On super low volume, he shot 25%. I'm definitely not saying he can never become a good shooter, but from what we have seen from him, I'm not sold on that aspect of his game ever developing to a level that you'd want it in the modern NBA. His offensive game is really that of the classic big man, where he can score in the post and then finish off lobs in the pick and roll. And while that's not exactly what you're looking for in the modern game, especially the post-up has phased out of popularity, it's definitely a serviceable role that we see a lot of guys play and still find success in the league. So overall, I think he can definitely be a contributor on offense, but he probably won't ever be a focal point on that side of the ball. Now, the defensive side of the ball is really where Clingan shines as a prospect. He has exactly what you want from a big man, which is elite rim protection. He averaged 2.5 blocks per game this past season at UConn, and watching the tape, that's definitely no fluke. He is elite at protecting the paint. Every shot that's taken at the rim against Clingan is contested and is altered in some way. Even if it goes in, he's affecting that shot. His defensive weaknesses are not very apparent, to be honest. He was rarely out of position in the pick and roll or with any play actions. Even when he got switched onto the perimeter, he could hold his own against slower guards and most wings. You definitely don't want him in a position where he's switched out onto a guard or a wing, but in the situation that he is, he can hold his own. He's not just going to get fried every play. Now, you're going to want to do everything you can to keep him out of that situation, but when he is in that position, it's not the end of the world. He probably will get scored on, but it's not a guarantee. But because he's not elite at guarding 1 through 5, and because he is so elite at protecting the rim, you definitely want to keep him roaming around the paint, around the dunker spot. You don't want him to get switched out like that. Clingan really is an elite defensive prospect. There is not a glaring weakness in his defensive game. He is a plug-and-play defensive contributor in the NBA, even if his offense isn't exactly what you'd like. He did only play about 24 minutes per game at UConn this past season, which makes me think he probably won't be a 40-minute per game type of player in the NBA. He probably will be something similar to what the Mavericks did with Lively and Gafford this past season, where they play both of them around 23 minutes per game. Now, for a player comparison, there's no perfect simulation of Clingan on both sides of the ball, but offensively and somewhat defensively, even though they play different styles on defense, he reminds me a lot of Ivica Zubac. Their offensive game is damn near identical. Zubac is no slouch in rim protection. He's pretty good down there. Clingan finishes a lot more plays with blocks rather than just contests or alterations compared to Zubac, but regardless of that, I do think they're very similar players, and if you're drafting Clingan, I think that's the type of player you should expect to be getting. Now, Zubac is a contributing center on a contending team. He's a pretty good player, but I mean no disrespect to him when I say that is not what you should be looking for with the first overall pick, especially when there are other players that play similar roles in the same position that I feel have more potential, specifically Alex Sarr. Now, is Alex Sarr guaranteed to be better than Clingan? No, absolutely not. But do I think he has a higher ceiling? Absolutely, for sure I do. My final thoughts are that the Hawks should not take Donovan Clingan with the first overall pick. I think he'll be a contributing center. I think he'll be in the league for a long time. I think he'll be a good player. But I don't think he has enough value to be taken first overall. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow Fuck It We Ball on all socials. I appreciate you guys for checking us out.